What's up, my comic comrades? The CW Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event is currently in full swing, and thus far there have been a crap ton of Easter eggs and cameos that just bring a tear of joy to my DC Comics love and heart. It's legitimately worth watching for the fan service and Easter eggs alone. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet and would like to, you can do so on the CW app. In any case, the being behind the Crisis is the Antimatter. Well, many moons ago, we promised to give you guys an origin of the Antimatter episode when the crossover kicked off. And today, we're making good on that, so let's get into it. The Antimatter was created by George Perez, Marv Wolfman, and Jerry Ordway, and he made his first appearance in Crisis on Infinite Earths 2 in May of 1985. But how did the Antimatter come to be? And more importantly, what makes him one of the top 5 most powerful beings in the DC universe? Well, it all started at the beginning of the universe. And at the center of the universe is Oa, which is the homeworld to the Owens and the Guardians of the Universe, who are the creators of the Green Lantern Corps. But before the Guardians of the Universe were even formed, there was an Owen scientist named Krona, who made a device that would allow him to see the source of all creation. But it caused a massive explosion on Oa. Said explosion created the Antimatter universe and the beginning of the multiverse. After this, a civil war began on Oa, with some Owens wanting to fight for justice to get rid of all evil, and the others, let's just say, didn't mind evil so much. So they left to the Antimatter universe to live on the planet Quord, which was the center of the Antimatter universe. Essentially, the Antimatter universe occupies the same space continuum as the Positive Matter universe, but on a different space-time level. As was explained to us in Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 7, the DC universe was a single positive matter universe until the scientist named Krona from the planet Oa altered the very moment of creation of the universe, which caused it to split into countless and similar universes and an antimatter universe. Now, I say all of this because obviously the birth of the antimatter universe is very important, as that's where the Antimatter came from. The Antimatter was born on one of the moons of Quord when a massive amount of energy took form. At the same time, in the Positive Matter universe, the Monitor was born in a similar way on one of Oa's moons. With the Antimatter now born, he decided to take over Quord by sheer force, and made himself an army of troops that had the power to throw lightning bolts, which he called the Thunderers. The most powerful of them, he turned into living shadows. And once Antimatter sensed the Monitor from the Positive universe, he started a 1,000,000-year-long war with him because his insatiable desire to conquer. Sometime after this would bring us to one of the most iconic comic book stories in history, Crisis on Infinite Earths. In the real world, the storyline was a way to revamp continuity and make things more streamlined going forward, as DC continuity was all over the place at this point in time. And I must say, once Crisis on Infinite Earths was over, it fixed a lot of problems. Although, as all of us diehard fans know, that never lasts very long, especially over the past several years, because DC loves them some Crisis events and reboots, but that's a rant for a different time. Anyway, as for the Antimatter and the Crisis on Infinite Earths story, after a cosmic accident tore a massive hole between the Positive and Antimatter universe, the Antimatter was like, yo, this is my opening, dude. Literally, and started flooding a bunch of the realities with a wave of antimatter, destroying them, planning on becoming the sole ruler of the multiverse, causing a crisis. But the Monitor, his counterpart from the Positive Matter universe, who was in charge of maintaining balance in the multiverse, was like, well, since my job is maintaining balance, I can't let that happen, and started recruiting heroes from across time and space to set up 5 towers to help merge the multiverse back into one to make it stronger. But in reality, like our real reality, it gave us readers a more streamlined continuity. Ultimately though, by the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Antimatter is reduced to a flaming head and then destroyed by Earth 2 Superman with a right hook while screaming, "I've had enough." Dude, I'm telling you, Superman can't be stopped. Yet people still wonder why I say he's the most powerful superhero. Now, I will say in more recent continuity, like literally continuity from 2019, it was revealed that both the Antimatter and the Monitor, along with the World Forger, have a mother, and that mother would be Perpetua. She's a super celestial being who created the multiverse that existed before Earth Zero. So not only did she create the Antimatter, the Monitor, and the World Forger, but also the multiverse itself. In short, that's pretty crazy. We'll definitely do an episode on her in the future as we learn more. But now that you know how the Antimatter came to be and his most prominent storyline, let's take a look at some of his powers and abilities. This should go without saying, but the Antimatter is one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe. So much so, he has caused more deaths than any other villain in the DC universe. Think about that for a second. I mean, the guy has literally destroyed and absorbed thousands upon thousands of universes. So to say he's incredibly strong and just overall powerful would be an understatement. He was also able to defeat literally armies of superheroes and can alter reality. And by absorbing universes, became more powerful than his counterpart, the Monitor. I mean, he was responsible for the first Crisis in the DC universe, and was the sole guardian for the Sinestro Corps once upon a time, and was even the source of the Black Lantern Corps' central power battery. The dude's insane. But if you're looking for some reading recommendations, obviously check out Crisis on Infinite Earths and The Darkseid Wars. And that's gonna bring another episode of Variant to a close, but if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out this one right here, and if you like what we do, be sure to subscribe and like, it helps us out. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.